to South Sudan, and the United Nations says it rejects any attempt by the country's leadership to abandon an international tribunal for a short-term truth-seeking commission. The U.S. says it firmly supports the African Union-backed hybrid court and called on all parties to fulfill their responsibilities. The suggestion by both President Salva Kiir and Vice President Riek Machar to abandon the hybrid court has also raised red flags among human rights advocates, with critics saying the proposal is an attempt to evade justice for those who committed atrocities in South Sudan's 21-month-long conflict. Correspondent Liling Tang now reports from New York.
Human rights advocates are concerned that the proposal to create a truth commission in place of an international tribunal to try perpetrators for wartime crimes would give impunity to those who should face justice. The proposal first appeared this week in a New York Times op-ed, supposedly co-penned by South Sudanese President Salva Kiir and Vice President Riek Machar. The op-ed stated the proposed commission would compile a true account of the war and grant amnesty to those who told the truth about what they saw or what they did during the conflict, even if they did not express remorse. The stated aim is to reconcile differences among the South Sudanese people as they build the nation, rather than fuel further divisions through court trials. While Riek Machar's office has since said he had no part in the op-ed, the proposal itself has been worrying for human rights advocates. The New York-based Human Rights Watch called it, and I quote, a self-serving attempt to evade justice. Iona Sismas, a former consultant to the UN Special Rapporteur on Transitional Justice, told Reuters news agency that post-conflict reconciliation like South Sudan's requires a process that includes seeking the truth, criminal justice, and institutional reforms. The international tribunal that the proposal seeks to replace was among the terms of a peace deal signed in August by former political rivals Kiir and Machar. Under that agreement, the African Union and South Sudan's transitional government are responsible for setting up the court under this tribunal. Now, where the UN is concerned, I'm told that pending a decision from the African Union, the United Nations will continue to back the implementation of the peace deal signed in August, as well as its provisions, including transitional justice and accountability. Li Lingtan, CCTV, New York.
Right, let's now get you more on this story from CCTV's Patrick Oyet. He now joins us on the line from South Sudan's capital, Juba. Patrick, there does seem to be conflicting reports on exactly who wrote this letter on the decision not to form the hybrid court. Do we now have a clear government position?
Yes, there is a clear government position. There was a conflicting report about who wrote the letter, but that is in the past now. President Kiir's spokesperson has now said he wrote the letter following an agreement that was reached between President Kiir and First Vice President Riek Machar. The president's spokesperson says the position of the government is that the priority should be given to truth, reconciliation, and healing. I think says hybrid courts for trying perpetrators of violence during the just ended conflict should be set up, but at a much later stage. He says the government wants justice, but first reconciliation should take place among communities that have been divided by the just ended conflict.
Patrick, of course, the contents of that letter did elicit sharp reactions from the international community. What are the reactions there in Juba, and is there support for the proposed court as well as efforts to bring to justice those who committed atrocities during the conflict?
Just as you say, there is a sharp division. There is a sharp division among the international community. There is also a sharp division among residents of Juba. There is a mixed reaction. There are people who want justice and they want the justice now. We have spoken to one person whose house was destroyed during the conflict and some of his relatives were killed. He says he wants justice. However, there are those who say they were not consulted when the issue of creating an hybrid court came about, so they don't care about the court, and they believe that even if the court is set up and people are tried, that is the perpetrators of the violence, the result may not even affect them. They fear that it might even draw the country back to war. This is the fear some people have, whereas some people want justice and they want justice now.
Patrick Oyet, thank you for that update. CCTV's Patrick Oyet joining us from South Sudan, the capital, Juba there.